Hello, hello, hello. Happy Sunday. I'm a little early tonight, which is good because I want to try to take the rest of the night off and I'm going to chill and relax and maybe watch a little movie or something. That's my plan for tonight. So I wanted to just tell a little story tonight about, life is funny. But sometimes the things that we laugh at today were not so funny back in the day, right? So I think sometimes a moment that we didn't laugh about can later become something that is incredibly hilarious. And so I'm not sure it's possible to convey this story to everyone, like the extent to which it's incredibly hilarious and funny. But it is a story that I think is incredibly funny, and my Aunt Mary Beth thinks is incredibly funny. So, and just so you know, my Aunt Mary Beth is a year younger than I am. So she's more like my sister. We grew up together. My mom and my grandma basically had kids the same age. My mom and her mom had kids the same age, right? So Mary Beth is more like my sister, right? We grew up together. And this is a story about a lady named Julie Burton. So nearly 45 years ago, I don't know exactly when this happened, but nearly 45 years ago, my grandma and grandpa, Mary Beth's house, was at the top of the block, right? And at the other end of the block was the church. And it was kind of a slanted sidewalk like this. So we used to ride our bike down that sidewalk. It was kind of a fun ride, right? And Mary Beth would very often ride her bike and I would sit on the handlebars, right? Because I was kind of a runt and I would ride the handlebars. Well, I convinced Mary Beth one day to let me drive the bike while she rode on the handlebars. And so we started at Grandma's house, Mary Beth's house, and rode down the block. When we got to the bottom of the block, there's a sign there. It was the bus stop sign for the church bus. And it had this big concrete base that held the sign in place. Well, I ran into that sign. Okay, and I had to convince her to let me ride. So she was already mad that she was letting me drive because she didn't want me to drive because she didn't trust me. And then I went and crashed into this concrete-based bus sign that tipped over. I still have a scar to this day right here. You guys probably can't see it, but it really is right there. Mary Beth still has a scar from this, right? And as a kid, these things that happen to you, I thought we were really severely injured. I mean, I remember thinking that I was going to have to go to the hospital and my gouge in my arm was deep and there's gravel in it. And so we're both crying and crying. And this is not the funny part of the story yet, mind you, okay? We're both crying and sobbing. So we start walking back up the hill to go back to Mary Beth's house so that Grandma can take care of us. And as we're walking past the church, then next door to that is the parsonage, the pastor's house. And Julie Burton is getting out of her car parked in front of the street and she's unloading her groceries. And as sure as I'm sitting here right now, I can still see her. I can see her car, this car that they had. And she's got groceries in her hand and she was a very perky lady. I still remember this about her. Very cheerful and friendly and she's carrying her groceries and, "Hi kids!" And we're sobbing and crying, and she's just walking past us. "Hi kids, the boys are in the house." Okay, I know this is not as funny to you all, but I'm telling you, it was hilarious. Now it's hilarious. I literally, when I thought of this week, I picked up the phone and called Mary Beth. And both of us, instantly, back to that moment, we laughed like crazy. So, I know you guys are not laughing. So please bear with me. There's a point here. The point is what I'm always saying. There's two things. Number one, it's a story that connects me to Mary Beth. That story connects me to Mary Beth forever and always. She and I are the only two people that can laugh so hilariously about that event. And we will never, ever forget it. And number two, Mary Beth and I are both connected to Julie Burton forever and ever. She doesn't know that she provided this memory for us that makes us laugh and smile 45 years later. I'm going to be in a nursing home someday laughing about this story of Julie Burton, and I can still see her just casually with her groceries. It wasn't so funny then, but it brings so much joy to me today. So I'm always saying this. It connects us forever and ever. She doesn't know that. She doesn't know that story. So again, I'm always reminding you, that's the whole purpose of my rambling on Sunday evenings, is to say to you, look, how many times in your life have you impacted or touched somebody's life? I'm telling you, you have. So even though you don't know it, even though you don't hear it, everything you do has an impact on the world around you. Julie Burton, thank you. Because you provided Mary Beth and me with an amazing memory that I'll never forget. So anyways, have a great Sunday, everyone. And please look for joy. Find it. I know it's there. Have a great week.